They're back my Japanese black pine that I grew from a seed in 2020 as part of the Grow It Bonsai Kit. Here you can see there's some dead needles near the base, but that's nothing to worry about. It's fairly normal, they're just old needles dying off. Anyway, as I said the whole way through the last video on this tree, I need to wire it, but I kept forgetting, but I finally got around to doing it. I put some pretty crazy bends into it. Maybe it looks a bit weird now, but this is very much a work in progress. This is for the greater good, and in about 10 years time, what I've done here will have paid off. But for now, you just have to accept it looks kind of funky. You can hopefully see that the branches that were at the top are now side branches. So although it looks weird, there is some sort of logic behind this. You have to build pines very differently than deciduous trees, so the decisions I'm making here are actually important. And of course, while I was wiring, I knocked some needles off, which is never ideal, but what can you do? In March, there's not a lot going on. It still seems pretty dormant. I think half the reason it looks so strange is because it's the first year and the second year needles, which are totally different sizes. The first year needles are the really long ones, and then the second year's growth is a little cluster of compact growth at the end. Hopefully it keeps growing needles that are this size, rather than crazy long looking ones. That would really help make this look good going forward. You can see there's still no sign of life in April. The buds aren't bursting yet, but they'll come. In May you can start to see there's finally some growth. The candles are starting to swell, and soon the new needles will be coming out of them. Here you can see there's one big one, but if you actually look closer, you'll see the two smaller ones down lower. They're not as strong. That's fairly typical. You normally get a few shoots into one place and they can be different sizes. As is a black pine, it's actually a double flush pine, which means I can prune it soon, which is what I'm going to do here in June. As you can see, the new needles are just about to start opening. So it's the perfect time for it, and it's really easy, you just cut them completely off. It can seem quite counterproductive, but it actually forces more shoots to grow at each spot, so I'm kind of replacing the one strong shoot with hopefully a couple more evenly sized ones. You literally just remove all the new growth completely, and that's it. So yeah, now it's back to where it was a month ago, but that's all part of the process. In July, there's not much happening, but that's to be expected after a prune. In August, I probably should have started showing some close-ups of where I cut, but apparently that whole concept just escaped me. So you won't really get to see new growth, but I'll show you near the end of the video. Basically where I cut, some new candles start to form, and basically these will be allowed to grow, and there'll hopefully be at least 2 of them, which will turn into new branches. Next spring, when candles start to form on what these candles are developing now, I'll cut them back just like I did before. You just keep repeating this over and over until you've got a good tree. In October it started to slow down for the year, and you can see some of the older needles are starting to turn yellow and drop off. It's an evergreen, but needles don't stay forever, they will fall off after a few years. In November it's pretty much dormant, but luckily I kind of realised I hadn't shown you the close-up of the new growth, so I'll do that in December, which you'll see here. So it hasn't changed much as a dormant, but let's have a look at that growth after the pruning. Not the most easiest to see, it's kind of hiding in there behind some needles, but you can see that 2 shoots have appeared where I made the cut. That's absolutely perfect. Next spring both of these should do exactly what happened this spring, and I'll cut them back again, and hopefully this time next year they'll have divided into 4, and that's just how you develop black pines. Anyway, here it is now. Still relax, and hopefully it'll wake up soon and have a good year of growth. Thanks for watching, see you next time.